Alright, so today I decided to, make a Dead by Daylight killer tier list. So this is me not taking I just want to specify this is me taking base kits and maybe add-ons into considerations. This is me mainly focusing on the killer itself and not like the skill ceiling or that stuff. I wanna mainly focus on just the killer and how I think they perform. This is me trying to take in the new PTB into consideration. I won't be doing too much. I know the Billy and Bubba changes changed a bit, not too much, but a little bit. Um, Now I haven't really played around with the PTB. I'll have to wait till the update comes out to play around with them, but we'll see. So I'm gonna start off with F tier, the bottom, and work my way up. Actually, no, I'm gonna do the top and then work my way down to the bottom because the top's gonna be pretty easy. I guess I could just start now. So I think I feel like this is obvious. Nurse is a really good killer if played correctly. If she's played wrong, you know. But oh, by the way, this is PC, not console or that. Because if this was console again, but in PC, a high rank nurse main is deadly. Like win most of the time. Another killer S tier is Spirit. Multiple reasons for this. She's she's a killer that has great mobility and a great way to like hide and find different survivors. If she's got really good add-ons, like really good add-ons that can help her, and perks. Like neutral spirit is good. Like neutral spirit would be like A B tier, or like low A high B tier. But with her add-ons and perk potential, like the synergy is incredible. Like spirit S tier, probably in my opinion. Now I could also put Billy in S tier, which is what I normally do. I think I'd have it like this normally, but with the new changes, I, it doesn't change much. It doesn't really change too much from what I can tell. But I'd say either low S tier or top A tier because he loses a lot of like potential with his chainsaw. Like I said, he has the ability to move around the map really fast. He can down survive. Did I say like I said? I'm dumb. But he has the ability to move around the map really fast, down survivors, and with the right add-ons, he's deadly. He's with the right add-ons, he's S tier. But because of the changes with the add-ons and the overheat functions, it's I'd say high A tier. Next is Hag. Hag is I don't know I don't think many people think this, but Hag is a really good killer, like a really good killer. She can place traps. She can teleport to traps. She's got some of the best add-ons. Well, she's got really good add-ons. It's kind of like a spirit situation. If you use the right add-ons with the right perks, you can make the most out of the killer. So making the most of the killer, she's high A tier. I wouldn't say she'd be an S tier, but high A tier. And maybe on a good day, maybe to low S tier. But I'm gonna stick with high A tier to mid A tier. Next, now this was actually really hard. It can really depend on everything really. This killer, I'd say Oni A tier. Now Oni is like Hillbilly, really similar to Hillbilly. Again, he can move around the map really fast and he can down survivors. But he's like, so first of all, he can't use it off the bat. He needs to hit survivors and get blood, which is actually really easy. Like if you hit survivors twice, you get his power. Like if you hit survivors twice, you get his power. So it's not really he doesn't really have the power usage like Billy, but he's still a really good killer because it's really easy to get his power, right? But I think he either goes low A tier to high B tier, and maybe even mid B tier, or lowish because he's got really good add-ons and perk synergy, right? Yeah, yeah. But so he's got pretty good add-ons, but like I don't really know. I could see him in high B tier or low A tier. It really depends because he's really a hit or miss killer. And it also depends on the survivors. You know, all of these depend on the survivors you play. At the bottom of A tier, I'm putting my main Huntress. Huntress, again, I think Huntress could be high to mid B tier, but I'm putting her in low A tier because of her potential. Like, I'm not, I'm like, but I don't mean like player skill potential, but I mean with the right add-ons and perks, she can be a deadly killer. She's got, I mean, obviously iridescent head, but one is iridescent head. She has really good add-ons, and of course she's a ranged killer. And if you're a ranged killer, you're probably gonna be around the top half of the tier list instead of the bottom half because. Sorry, my dad just started playing music outside. It really like. I think Huntress is low A tier. I might be a little bit biased because you know I fucking main her, but I'm putting her in low A tier. Now B B tier B tier is really difficult. B and C tier is probably the hardest ones to do because I feel like this is the mid range, and the mid range it's hard to tell who's better or worse. But what I did, I put Deathslinger in top of B tier, like I said, or not. Okay, let me just lay out B tier right now, so I can talk about all of these guys. Now this could go anywhere. Like Freddy could be up here, Deathslinger could be down here, Ghostface could be here, Pyramid Head could be there. But it's really hard to tell. Now, Freddy is a really good killer, and he could probably be low A tier. But it's just I feel like the current state he's in Dead by Daylight means like he mainly has to rely on not himself, but like Dead by Daylight as a game. Like Freddy is a really good example of Dead by Daylight as a game. It's he's got some weird hits and stuff. He's got some weird hits and stuff. He's got some weird like his power is also a little weird. So he puts survivors to sleep, and he can teleport to generators, which is really good if you use correctly. You can use it for mind games and that stuff. But I'm putting him, I'd say mid B tier or mid to high B tier. And I could see him in low A tier, but I'm putting him mid to high B tier. Now, Ghostface could be C tier. I'm putting him low B tier because he's like Myers, but with more space to move around. He's like Myers, but I personally think he's Myers, but better. He can go around the map. He can go into his stalk mode, and he can stay silent for like the whole game if he wants to. I'd put him probably mid-range B tier to low B tier. I can see him top of B tier, but right now I think I'm putting him low B tier, and I'm kind of happy with that. And then Deathslinger and Pyramid Head, I don't really know which one would go above which. I'm gonna stick with Deathslinger above Pyramid Head, because Pyramid Head has a really good ability. You know, caging survivors. They can't use DS. Like if you play Pyramid Head right, you can get rid of survivor perks. Like DS gone because he has that potential. Then again, he has some counters to his abilities, like his M2 strike up and makes a little like pathway that kills survivors. Dead hard, you can just run away from it, and it's he doesn't really have any mobility once he uses the ability. So I'm putting him lower than Deathslinger because Deathslinger has a fucking gun to shoot survivors and hook them in. Well, if you're too far away, you might not be able to get the survivors if they, go to like a patch or like a rock or something, and they completely stop your ability. But I still think Death Slinger is above Pyramid Head because range is everything. Now C tier is another one of those weird ones. So I'll lay out C tier. Oh my god. All right, so here's my first thing. Trapper could go D tier. Bubba could go D tier, and Doctor could go D tier. But with the new Bubba changes, he's faster. He's got charges, so Bubba's need to like work with his chainsaw more than before. So he has potential. I think he could go low C tier. Trapper, if played correctly, Trapper could be mid C tier, sorry. Mid C tier to low C tier. But I have no idea where to put these. So Doctor, I'd say goes bottom of the C tier. He could go bottom to mid C tier to even top of D tier, but I'm leaving him in low C tier. You could also make the argument that Wraith can be C tier, but Wraith got the buff and he got better. He was probably like bottom D tier, maybe even F tier. But with the new buff, he's probably like mid-range C tier. It's just, I don't think people are really using Wraith how he can be. Normally the Wraith games, he has really bad disadvantage when he's invincible. When he's invisible, flashlights, basically counter him, and with flashlights basically growing in usage every single fucking day, I don't think Wraith has the potential. Like, he has the potential to be bottom C tier, but he's getting dragged down. Trapper, I could put in D tier, but I'm not too sure. All of these guys have the potential to be in D tier. But I'm going to leave it like this. Of course, Bubba has the, he can instantly down a survivor, and Doctor, he can shock survivors. I feel like Doctor is that rare occurrence where his music is like an advantage to him, because as a survivor, it's hard to tell when he's actually really close and chasing you. But he's either top of D tier or bottom C tier, my opinion. Now, Myers, like I said, is like Ghostface, but worse. He can instantly down survivors, and with the right add-ons, he can have tier 3 for the whole game, even within tier 3 for the whole game, and down all the survivors. And he can also Mori them, of course. But I don't know if Myers would be the like. He doesn't have enough room like Ghostface, because Ghostface is more of a threat than Myers, in my opinion. But of course, Myers, he can be really good with the right add-ons and right perks and right gameplay. He could be top C tier, maybe even bottom D tier, B tier. Sorry, I don't think he can go D tier. I think he's fine at mid-range C tier to mid to high C tier. Legion is another one of those cases that could be high C tier to bottom B tier. Now, I'm talking about the current stage that Legion is at. He could be top C tier, but he's one of those killers that just slows the game down, and normally you'd escape against Legions because he isn't a killer that's played correctly. He's like I said, he's easily, like, he slows the game down. He's really good at slowing the game down. He can injure survivors really easily, but he can injure survivors. He doesn't. The only way to down a survivor as Legion is to commit to one survivor, and that's not what you're supposed to do when you play Legion. Like, as Legion, you have to, start spreading on the map, injuring survivors, maybe downing them. But Legion is a weird killer. He's a really weird killer. I'm putting him mid to bottom C tier because I don't think he's in the state he's currently at. I don't think he can be. I don't see him in B tier, or I don't see him in the top half of the tier list because I don't know. Now, Demogorgon is one of those killers that has a really high. I love playing Demogorgon. He's really fun to play. He has one of those chances that he could be top B tier. I mean, yeah, top B tier, maybe even bottom A tier. But his add-ons are so bad. I think his best add-on is probably is a brown add-on because all of his add-ons are like to help him go through the upside down or portals and stuff, and that's not really an integral part of demo. Demo is like, oh sorry, his best add-on is his shred add-ons, right? And he's got like two of those, and they're I think yellow and like brown. They're he's got like the worst add-ons. If you use right perks on him, he can probably be bottom B tier, but like at the state he's at, he needs his add-ons to be buffed or something. Like they need to work on him. Now Plague, I don't know if I should put him should put what? I don't know if I should put her in bottom B tier or top C tier. Now I think she can be bottom B tier because if played right with her corrupt if she's versing survivors that like cleanse because whatever they cleanse and she gets her corrupt, she can be one of the best killers in the game. She can be like she can injure survivors so easily. She can down survivors really easily. But the thing is, at higher ranks, people would like know not to cleanse. So I'd say in lower ranks, she's like mid to high or low B tier, right? She's in B tier in low ranks, but in higher ranks, and that's what I'm mainly talking about, is probably high C tier to low B tier. I'm putting her in high C tier because that's where I think she should be. But I think she definitely has the potential to be in bottom B tier or mid B tier because she's like she has the potential, but it's not really being used, right? So now for F tier is I'm putting Pig and Clown. First of all, Pig, she is not the best. Her ability is reverse bear traps, and if they're used right, you can zone survivors out, you can make them stress. But she has a lot of RNG on her. She needs a lot of RNG, right? She needs to like depending on which jigsaw puzzles remove the traps or not. It can change the whole game. If survivors remove the bear traps off in like the first puzzle, then she's bottom, maybe even bottom F tier, like bottom F tier. But but if the survivors have like the last jigsaw puzzle every time, she could probably be bottom C tier, maybe mid C tier. It's just her ability. There's so much RNG involved with her, and RNG, it's not good. If you don't know what RNG is, it's random number like generated thing. So there's a chance of this happening. But like I said, Pig, really RNG based. I think the most RNG based killer. The only other RNG based killer I could see maybe Trapper. Like I said, the RNG based killers are bottom tiers. Trapper, depending on where the traps are, that could change everything. And then like if the traps are all in one place, then you're fine. But with Pig, you know, she's really RNG based, and her lunge ability thing is really counterable. It's she needs. I think she and Clown need reworks. Maybe yeah. I think they're the two who need to be changed. Now Clown did get a buff recently-ish. Wait, hold on. Clown got a buff recently, or I don't know. I don't remember how many updates ago it was, but so he doesn't get like slowed down when he's throwing his cocktails, and his cocktails are really useful if used right. So I think Clown could probably be bottom D tier, but it's he's no, like his add-ons maybe could put him bottom D tier, but like I said, he's just he's one of those killers that are just like in general not very good. Like, his ability isn't that good. His add-ons are pretty. He has some add-ons that are really good, but his add-ons aren't the best. He has some add-ons that can be used really well, and fucking he has some add-ons that can be used really well, but he's just not reaching the potential that he can be. So I'd say this is probably my tier list for Dead by Daylight killers. A lot of them could change positions, and we'll see with the new update where Bubba and Billy end up. But with the new PTB, with the little time that I played with it, this is probably the tier list. Like I said, Bubba could probably be down D tier. Trapper could even be C tier. You know, Plague could be B tier. Freddy could be A tier. Billy could be S tier. You know, it really depends. It's really hard to list. You know, all the killers, but we'll see with the next updates and what they do. I'll try to do a tier list for every single new killer when that happens, because I wanna make this like a normal thing to do. But this is my tier list for now on 4.10 update PTB with like the Bubba and Billy changes. So right now, this is my opinion. We'll see how it shifts, and thanks for watching.